The problem with being a pick-me is that you're never given the opportunity to pick yourself. The nature of being a pick-me means that you're centering someone else's wants, needs, and desires. When you do this, you end up developing yourself in order to be chosen by them or someone like them. The problem with this is you are not centered. When this happens, your development is not centered around your goals, your dreams, your wants, your desires, your purpose, or your path. It's centered around being chosen so you could be an accessory in someone else's life. The problem with being a pick-me is you don't get the option of picking yourself. And when you consistently don't pick yourself, you don't develop yourself.
What's up, taters? It's Tree from treeoflogic.com. Welcome to my channel, Just Tree 411. And today we're going to talk about pick-me's, how dangerous they are, how we need to stay away from them, unless you are a pick-me. I think pick-me should have pick-me friends, and therefore you can see if you were the bigger pick-me. And sometimes a pick-me can actually become a normal woman, a woman who's about her own self-worth and have high self-esteem. When the woman is a bigger pick-me than she is, then she'll have some self-reflection. But I gathered a lot of very powerful women on TikTok who are going to tell their side of the story. There's also going to be some women that's going to explain to you why most pick-me's don't get picked. Or if they do get picked, they get picked by men that are narcissists, that are evil, that are abusive. So they're not satisfied with the men that pick them. And also, those men are not satisfied either, and they always cheat, or they basically keep them on the girlfriend line for 10, 14 years. They probably be engaged to them for that amount of time. These type of men don't appreciate a pick-me. So let's get into the content, and I'm going to do some of my commentary during some of it. So let's jump right into it.
I think being friends with the ultimate pick-me girl is not only annoying, but it's dangerous. Especially when you're young and you're in still your party sort of socialization, developing an identity phase. Pick-me girls are so concerned with male validation that they don't care about your well-being. And oftentimes these kind of women will put you in situations or push you into situations where your sense of judgment and your naivety are already compromised just for the sake of being seen as the cool girl or the wing woman. I just recently saw a video where these girls were on this cliff thing, and it was like a 60-foot dive into the water. And they were surrounded by a bunch of their male friends, and the girl that was getting ready to jump the dive was a little bit nervous and hesitant, and then her pick-me-ass friend from behind just pushed her. And the impact was so great that she ended up breaking like 60 bones. Maybe it was 6, I don't remember. But that's just an example of how a pick-me can put you in dangerous positions. When I was in my early 20s, I was friends with this girl who was a pick-me, and she wanted all the validation from men. She wanted to be seen as one of the guys, one of the cool ones. And there were times where I was incredibly inebriated, and she had forced me into a dark room, and I mean literally pushed me into the room with some guy and held the door closed until he was done doing what he wanted to do to take advantage of me. She was also the same friend that when me...
Now, my question to this chick is, what did you do afterwards? You know what I'm saying? Did you beat her down? Did you continue to be friends with her? See, this is the problem with women like this. I'm just assuming. It doesn't sound like she got rid of her immediately as a friend. It didn't sound like she basically like threw some hands because you just been violated because of her. It sounded like she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you did this, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe she was just too drunk. But baby, when you sober up, okay, it's time to handle some business. That's what I want to know. I want to know, what did you do to the woman who set you up like that?
She was also the same friend that when me and my boyfriend broke up a week later, she was sleeping with him. But pick-me girls will totally disregard your well-being and your good standing so that the men that they are around will deem them as somebody who's worth hanging out with. They won't respect your boundaries, they won't respect your well-being, and they don't care if you get hurt in the process. They only care about receiving a chuckle, a laugh, or a high five from the dudes they're around. And if that means hurting you in the process, they will do it. We always talk about how pick-me women are intolerable and unbearable and insufferable, but they are also so fucking dangerous to be friends with.
Well, the thing about it is that as soon as you see the betrayal, as soon as you see them put you in danger, cut them off. My problem with a lot of women is they don't cut off these type of women. They don't even do it to the men, so I know they don't do it to the women.
Everybody told me that a pick-me girl is the girl that wants all the attention from guys, so much so that she's willing to make other women look bad in that pursuit.
Yeah,
that was the overwhelming response.
I see a pick-me girl as somebody that's like, I'm different. Like, it's like I'm not like other girls. Like, look, this is what's like so cool about me. Like, other girls aren't like that.
Okay,
That's
that
like,
sort of fits in the same category.
We don't talk enough about how pick-me's come from a long line of pick-me's, and how a lot of our mothers were actually victims of abuse, and they stayed with their abusers because it allowed them to survive. But what they didn't realize is that by enabling their abusers, they subconsciously trained their daughters to become pick-me's, to essentially have a man for the sake of having a man, even if he treats you and your children horribly. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, and one of the things that she enabled my dad to do is take his anger out on us if we were being too noisy after he came home from work, and if we were being too noisy while he's taking a nap, and if we're being too noisy while he's eating. And it's like, we're his children too, and we were kids. Kids are not quiet. Kids are rarely ever quiet. And my dad kept knocking my mom up and constantly bringing more kids into the family. So it's like, how do you expect a household of this size to be quiet as soon as you step foot into the house? And that's what I mean by enabling abuse, because taking your anger out on your children is abusive, and training your children to be quiet as soon as their father steps into the house is enabling that abuse. If she was not an enabler, she would have said, they're kids. They're happy to see you. They're your kids. Sit and have dinner with them. Have a conversation with them. Watch a movie with them. And my dad would only do these things if he was in the mood to do them. So again, that's what I mean by enabling abuse and training your daughters to become pick-me's. Because now we have to sit down, shut up, be quiet until he's in the mood to come and socialize, until he's in the mood to come and talk, until he's in the mood to want to watch a movie or to want to eat with us or to want to see what we're up to or to check in or whatever it was. Like, that's how you become a pick-me, is you tiptoe around a man and you anticipate his needs and you fulfill those needs so that he doesn't lash out on you, so that he doesn't take his anger out on you, so that he doesn't call you names, so that he doesn't abuse you. And it's like, you're my father, though. When you grow up as a little girl who doesn't receive unconditional love from her father and receives unconditional love from her mother until her father says, no, this is wrong. You shouldn't be this nice to them. You shouldn't treat them like that. You know, my dad would literally on my mom for being nice to us and loving us unconditionally. He literally subconsciously trained her to also become abusive, to also take on his abusive traits, which is why it's easy for these women to become enablers, because they have been conditioned into thinking that there's nothing wrong with the behavior of this guy. And so when you grow up and you start dating men and you see these traits in these men, you don't think there's anything wrong with it. Because you're like, oh, my dad was like this. Oh, yeah, I am trained to please a man. I am trained to fulfill a man. I am trained to make sure that a man is always happy with me and doesn't lash out on me and doesn't take his anger out on me. And it's like, no, you're just a doormat. You're just a pick-me. And I think the saddest part about all of that is that they're never gonna be 100% happy with you. Like, any guy that you are being a pick-me to is always gonna have something to nitpick about. That's how he keeps you in that cycle of anticipating his needs and fulfilling them and revolving your entire life around making sure that he's happy, so he doesn't have a temper tantrum. Instead of teaching little boys about their emotions and how to communicate and how to regulate their emotions, we train little girls to anticipate everybody else's emotions and everybody else's needs around them and make sure that they change themselves so that they don't get negative emotions from this person around them. And as a result, a lot of girls take on these negative emotions. That's why a lot of pick-me's are depressed, have low self-esteem, have so much anxiety. They're literally just vessels that everybody dumps their negative emotions into and then says, make something out of this and make me happy. Make me happy so I don't feel like this. I don't care how you feel. You make me happy. It's your job. I'm the man. I'm the boss of the household. And that's why you see a lot of women today choosing to stay single. There simply aren't that many males who have emotional intelligence. Instead of unlearning all the toxic things they were taught growing up, they continue to perpetuate it. And they only look for women who have not unlearned any of the stuff that they were taught as a child as well, because they are easy to control and manipulate. A lot of males don't want to do the work of understanding their emotions and how to regulate them because it's too hard. Because they've gone their entire life with someone else telling them how they feel and what to do about their emotions. Like, I literally was dating a guy who was like twice my age, and I had to break it down to him, like, why he was acting certain ways around me because of his childhood wounds. And that's when I realized, wait, I'm doing the emotional labor for this grown ass man? Absolutely the not. Like, there's just no amount of money that's worth that for me. Like, because that is a personal thing. I can't tell you how to change yourself because I don't really know everything you've been through to the extent that you know everything you've been through. And if you really want to heal as a man, then you have to do the inner work yourself. But a lot of them don't know how to heal and don't really have a desire to heal until they meet a healed woman and they're like, oh, I want some of that light. Oh, I want some of this confidence. Oh, I want some of this intuition. And they latch onto you and they suck you dry and they turn you into a pick-me again because they make you do all the emotional labor that you already did for yourself to heal from being raised by a mother who enabled the abuse of a toxic man. So please heal from your pick-meism. Okay? Understand that no amount of validation from a male is going to make you feel as confident as validation from yourself. And understand that being validated by a male doesn't make you a winner in any sense. There is no prize for being validated by a male. But there is a prize for unlearning pick-meism, and the prize is a long and fulfilling and happy life.
I hate that I gotta make a part two, but I gotta make a part two. I just put up a video about the woman going on a date and the man giving her a $30 budget. And just the simple fact that, you know, the man just put it on her after they had sat down. It was even a cheap restaurant. Long story short, somebody in my comment section on Instagram, I deleted the comment because I'm not tussling with you in the comments. You just want attention. I said before, when you argue with a fool, makes you a bigger fool. But I'm going to make a video. This female got in my comments under that video and said, women need to stop expecting men to pay for dates, and they should pay for their own meal. You can go out with a man and he pay his half and you pay your half, or what? You pick me ass women are the reason why we are dealing with what we're dealing with these men now. You're the type of females that lay and pay. You screw him, you pay his way, you pay for trips, you cooking him food with groceries he ain't even bought. Back in the day, men, it was no question. It's like you go on dates now, you got a question on, you know, who gonna pay for the bill. Back in the day, if a man was trying to date you, trying to get with you, it was understood he took care of the bill. They opened doors, they courted you, they dated you, they took you out. It wasn't whining and dining. That's all obsolete now because you got a bunch of pick-me-ass women that feel like she want to go Dutch on everything. If you want to go Dutch, you take your damn brother out to eat. Y'all go eat. But if you dealing with a man that's trying to get to know you, he's calling himself courting you, he gonna foot that bill.
I recently posted a video talking about how I was raised to be a pick-me and the pitfalls that ended up having in my life. And a lot of people commented, how is it that you were raised to be a pick-me, yet you're so educated, you're so successful? And that's the problem a lot of people have. They think that pick-me's are only women who don't have anything going for them. I was raised in a culture where everything I did was to make myself a better candidate for a man to end up picking me. So education, career, all of that was in order for a man to ultimately pick me, not because it was for my benefit. So this idea that a lot of women have that if you're smart or educated or accomplished, there's no way those women can't be pick-me's or can't be raised to be pick-me's, that's just a fallacy. A lot of times, most of the things that women have done in their life is not because for their own personal reasons, not because of their passions, not because of their likes, but rather because they want to position themselves to be picked by a man. Now, I come from traditional values and beliefs, so the fact that I wanted to get married was always on the table. But I don't like how most of my life was centered around doing everything for a man rather than doing it for me.
I've come here to talk about something that is very dangerous. Pick-me girls. So, over the course of all of my relationships, there's always been one girl that reports back to the male that I was seeing about things that I'm doing. Why this is dangerous, you ask? That's a great question. Especially if the partner was mentally abusive, physically abusive, any kind of abusive, that is fueling a fire for more abuse. You tell somebody how someone else is acting and it doesn't align with how they think they should be acting after a breakup, whether they aren't together and aren't speaking or what, it prompts harassment. So, food for thought, if you're thinking about sharing what a female is doing after a breakup with her ex, don't, for her safety.
This is your reminder to stay difficult. It may seem as if these girls that are easy, that have no standards, the pick-me's that are letting the guys lie and cheat and taking them back, that they're the ones that are getting men that are running off into the sunset. You probably are on the brink of folding on your standards. Let me tell you why you shouldn't. Pick-me's never work out. Pick-me's never work out because when you let a man do anything to you, you're so emotionally invested on that situation working out. So you want to know what starts happening to the guy? He starts losing his freedom. He starts being smothered by pick-me's, and he starts feeling like he's in prison. You want to know what he works his way over to? The girl that was difficult. Men love difficult women. Don't ever forget it. They love a challenge.
They love a challenge. I keep saying this to women. I'm like, listen, stop being easy. Stop being always accessible. Don't get rid of other plans for him if he cancels at the last minute. Like if he just calls you out of the blue, you already got something going on. Don't cancel your plans. Tell him hey, I got something scheduled here. Let's basically set up another time where we can meet. Like, trust me, if you're always accessible, he's going to think, yeah, she's easy. She's always going to be there for me. You guys, trust me, this works so much. Being a little difficult, not always being accessible. I'm telling you, men love challenges. I've always been saying this.
The girl that had standards, that loved herself, that put herself first, that was selfish in a relationship, that was having a good time, that wanted, that didn't need him, okay? Never forget, women cry first, men cry longer. He's going to regret it. Pick-me was fun, but that's not where he's going to stay.
I'm going to tell you why in the end men don't pick girls who do everything for them. The pick-me girls, as we call them online. The reason is not because they get annoyed by them. It's not anything like that. They will often pick the girl who's hard to get, and those girls they call gold diggers or whatever it is, who are only about themselves, who are all selfish. The reason is because once they get into a relationship with a pick-me girl, they realize how much she takes away from his freedom and how much energy she requires. Because when a woman is all about herself and doing what she wants to do, she also gives that man freedom, and she gives him a status boost as well, and she makes him achieve more. Whilst if you're a pick-me type of woman, you are a pick-me type of woman because you require that same energy back. So when a pick-me doesn't get that type of energy back in a year or in a few months when she's dating him, guess what? She is blowing up your phone. She's asking why you're not consistent. She's asking you where you're going. She's asking you all these questions all the time because she expects her investments returned. So in the end, men don't like that. No matter how much they say they like that, they don't like that. Because the biggest value for men is remaining themselves, having freedom. That is what they want.
If there is a woman around your man that likes to talk about her bra a lot or something about her body, she's a pick-me girl and she's interested in your man. The reason these girls act like this around your man is because they know that they can't win him over emotionally because you've already done that. So next time you know of a girl that's around your man that's always flirty, always gets up close to him, she probably wants him. And because she's so insecure and she hates herself that much, she creates a pick-me persona because in her mind that is all she can be to be better than you.
I like this TikToker. Her name is Liz Perez. You can find her at _Liz Perez 95. She's pretty cool. I like what she has to say.
So we have a phenomenon on our hands, most commonly known as pick-me girls. It's an epidemic of obnoxious women who are having a measuring contest, except instead of measuring they are setting women back to the 1950s. According to Urban Dictionary, a pick-me is a person who begs for the attention, acceptance, and approval of a certain group and different things they say. In most cases, is to attain the attention and acceptance and approval of the opposite sex. But that's a very gender-neutral definition, and it's missing a very key factor. Pick-me girls love to bring other women down along the way. They make themselves feel intellectually and morally superior by putting themselves on a pedestal when in reality they aren't anything special. Their opinions are usually very misogynistic, so the only people that ever actually agree with them are either men or other pick-me girls with the same backwards ass views. The funny thing is a lot of these women are not self-aware, like at all. Yeah, I'm not like other girls. Most women are trashy. Girls who don't shave are disgusting. It's so unnatural and unhygienic. They're trying to be like men. I take good care of my mans. You be girlfriends. I'm a wife. I'll lick the bathroom floor clean before I ever let my mans touch a bottle of Lysol. Real women don't let their mans clean. You know when the boys make very sexist or misogynistic jokes, there's always that one girl that's like, I'm a girl and I found this funny. There's also a lot of victim blaming with these pick-me girls, and it's honestly really disgusting. Ladies, you don't have to dress half naked in order to get a man's attention. Real men like women who are not for sale. I prefer to hang out with guy friends because girls are so much drama. Oh my god, she wears so much makeup, I could never. These pick-me girls are
Dude, does this not sound like Pearl or what? We all know that Pearl's a pick-me. She's a proud pick-me, but this is Pearl hands down, okay?
Girls are so bitter, like what a sad life. There's all these expectations with how women are supposed to behave in society when in reality it's just gender roles and stereotypes. Pick-me girls have set unrealistically high standards, so when women don't live up to those standards, they're viewed as inferior. Most girls, including myself, were pick-me girls growing up. I don't agree with a lot of the things that I used to believe when I was a kid. The important thing is to grow the up. Just so we're clear, there's nothing wrong with having traditional views for yourself if that's how you want to live, but don't shame women for not wanting to follow in your footsteps.
I don't want to hang with no pick-me. No. Because you're going to do everything to be picked, settle for mediocrity. And then when he leave, you're going to come running back to me so I can pick up the pieces? No, honey. They don't go like that. No. I'm all for a girl being with her man. I ain't no hater. Girl, do your thing. Do what makes you happy. But if you diss your friends as soon as you get a man, ding, 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 red flag, red flag. Some of y'all don't know how to be friends. That's why y'all don't have no real friends. Because as soon as y'all get a man, y'all betray y'all friends. Y'all don't see friends. Y'all friends are like place fillers until y'all get a man. And once y'all get a man, y'all forget about your friends. You don't deserve friends. Okay? Go be a friend to yourself. How about that? Okay. Yeah. I'm done.
I have a question. Fellas, why aren't you picking the pick-me's?
You know, there are women out there who are willing to let men cheat on them. They're willing to pay all the bills while you sit at home and play video games all day, driving their car, dropping them off back and forth to work, break babies, cheating on them incessantly, all of that. There are women out there who are willing to do all of that for the sake of having a man. Those women are classified as pick-me's. The reason why I think that men don't pick women like that is because desperation on a woman is very unattractive, and men are not attracted to women who make it that easy. If he barely did anything, but he gets everything from her, that's not cute. He doesn't want that. Men only appreciate what they've had to work hard for and what they've had to earn. And when women don't make them earn anything, they don't respect it and they don't respect you. As much as men jump on this app every day and complain about women's standards, truthfully, when they're looking for a wife or somebody to settle down with, they want a woman with some standards.
So as you all know, I was raised by a very violent mother, a very no-nonsense mother. And I think that's the reason why I am the way I am. But I'm a little bit more peaceful. I'm very selective of my battles. I guess if I have gotten those traits from her, I'm somewhat grateful. Anyway, what about you all? Now, do you ever have pick-me's as your friend? Are you a reformed pick-me, or are you currently one? Let me know by leaving a comment below the video. I actually love engaging with you all in the comments. So please, please, please feel free to ask a question or make a statement, and you'll see me either like your comment or reply. Okay? All right. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, taters.